Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, Brady the Overanalyst, breaking. God, what's got to be running on 2 years of silence? Y- First off, you'll forgive me for looking just a little bit haggard. I'm on vacation at present, and I'm filming this just after I wake up. And trust me, when you're used to wearing a three-piece suit every day, you kind of let yourself go in the off time. You hear me? Um, but I'm making this video largely to attempt to reach out to some of you because I've been receiving several really wonderful comments from members of the old audience asking, where I've been, what I'm up to, and one that was very eloquent and touching in particular, asking a couple questions about some of the old material on this channel and where and how I've been. And I just wanted to address these matters and give you a little bit of information about where I've been, the reason why I've been absent for quite so long, and the future of this channel. And yes, by the way, we do have a future here. Fingers crossed, eh? First off, I want to thank each and every one of you who's taking the time to watch this right now. Who supported me back during my initial run on YouTube about 2 to 3 years ago. I'm quite proud of a lot of the material I put out, but at the same time, I was still quite young, maybe 15, 16 for much of that, and that definitely shows, my inexperience showed, in the quality of the product I put out insofar as production values, editing, or the lack thereof, and the like. So thank you for supporting me through what was a very hard Scrabble program. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you for being so wonderful, so kind to me back then, and to some of you still reaching out even today. I am just deeply ingratiated to you because I was in a pretty difficult spot in my life when I first started my career, if you will, on YouTube. I was transitioning into college, made most of those videos during my first year of college following just a really rough stint in what passed for high school. It was a Dominionist Christian homeschool program, so, it was education, but I've really come into my own since I started attending an actual institution, a real university. And I have taken to academia like I never have anything in my life before, which is largely why I've been so absent over the past couple of years. I transferred from a community college where I graduated with high honors, just I was amazed, to a larger four-year university where I was able to repeat that accomplishment just recently, a couple weeks ago. And so I'm currently sort of in the transition period. I'm going to be taking a year off between my graduation and engagement with grad school, where hopefully I'll be studying history and aiming for a PhD with the ultimate aim of becoming a collegiate level instructor and researcher and passing on some of the gifts that my wonderful instructors have been able to give me. So that's where I'm at in my personal life. But as I said, it was a very difficult time for me when I first started here on this site. And I want to thank each and every one of you for showing so much positivity, so much encouragement, so much kindness to me during that time as I proceeded about my work both on and off the platform. Like words can't express, and I can't do anything, I think, that could sufficiently express my gratitude to every single one of you just for watching some videos and being a part of a silly little community. But, with that out of the way, to address sort of the meat of many of the inquiries I've been receiving, where am I? Well, my studies left me, unfortunately, with very, very little time to actually prepare material for record and then properly edit or select clips of video to upload for the type of programming that I was going to create or wanting to create. And I reached a point where I was extremely dissatisfied with the quality of work I was able to provide you. As was probably evident during roughly the last 4 or 5 months of my show, I'll be honest, it was, and it's purely my fault, an absolute nightmare. We had series that would run for 2 or 3 episodes and then just stop. We had a panel of co-hosts, all of whom were wonderful content creators, just cycling like a whirlwind, not what I intended in the beginning. It was quickly spiraling out of control, and with my studies intensifying, I had less and less time to manage it all and create the type of product I ideally wanted to. So I feel like I had to prioritize my education, and I stand by that, but at the same time, I feel like by just dropping off the face of the earth and not producing, like, the good quality content I wanted to, that I let all of you down, and I'm very sorry for that. I didn't provide you with the type of content or the type of community that I wanted to, and I am deeply sorry for that, really. But it wasn't just absence or a lapse in production that turned my work on this platform into something I never wanted it to be. Oop, sorry about that, we've got glare from the window behind me. If you recall, the last couple of months of my presence on YouTube were consumed with a really childish debate. I say debate. Kind of a feud between BM, that's Blue Majora, and another content creator that I tried to handle with as much tact and dignity as I was able, but ultimately shouldn't have weighed myself down with, right? Because I spent time producing maybe 3-4 videos on that topic, whereas instead I could have been using that time to make something meaningful, something entertaining, something that was therefore positive for all of you, instead of trying to double down and make progress in an argument where we clearly weren't going to gain any ground. Do you feel me? So that was just a misallocation of resources, and beyond that, I am so ashamed of that because I focus so much more on negativity, on trying to really fight with someone who was never going to accept, like, my line of reasoning or what we do here, instead of trying to help all of you with fun little videos and programs, you know, and I say help, I don't mean that in a condescending way, I mean provide something positive, something entertaining to, something you could watch at night when you come in from school or work or what have you, and then be entertained, if only for a little bit, and only very mildly entertained at that. So, no, by the time my initial run on YouTube was over, I was feeling very ashamed of myself and the work I had done. And maybe it's not fair to put all that weight on yourself when you're like 16 years old, but that doesn't matter. The point is, I did not achieve what I wanted to for you, for this platform, for my work, and for that I am just truly sorry. I wanted to create a platform and a community, you know, where not just for creepypasta or crappy fanfiction, but where people from all arenas, right, people of all demographics could come together in a fairly positive environment and just enjoy media of all stripes. Whether or not it's the way the author intends for us to enjoy it doesn't mean I'm not going to riff on things, doesn't mean we're not going to have some fun with some things of less than ideal quality, but I wanted this to be a place where we could come together, congregate as a community, no matter who we are, no matter what our background is, and enjoy media together. and hopefully dig a little bit deeper into it than some other outlets may. And unfortunately, we weren't able to accomplish this, and the onus for that falls squarely on my head. But moving forward, this is what I hope to correct. You know, I let sort of the allure, because I was a teenager, like transitioning from high school to college, I let the allure and sort of what I needed at the time, like this community of content creators, of collaborations, of like feuding and drama and all that, draw me away from my initial intent here, which was just to create fun, like pretty straightforward little videos. And to that end, I wasn't interacting with you guys in the comment sections or things like that to the extent that I wanted to, and I let a lot of things fall by the wayside, and I didn't want to do that. So for all of my failings as an entertainer on this platform, I want to apologize to you, my audience, once again. But I also want to share my vision for this platform, this channel moving forward. Okay, so I'm going to be moving house fairly soon. We don't have an exact date yet, but I will be moving to a new residence where I will stay at least for maybe 8 to 10 months until I begin my graduate studies. Now, as soon as I get relocated, get settled in, get all of my tech unpacked, what I want to do is develop, and I can start with some of the fundamental purchases at this time, and I intend to. I want to develop a streaming rig that will allow me to, at the very least, because you guys remember the atrocious quality of my old laptop and all of its associated technology, right? Well, I've still got that laptop, and at this point, it's a miracle if I can watch YouTube, let alone make anything for it. So I'm going to need to get a new computer, I'm going to need to get some new kit, I'm probably going to need to get some modules like graphics cards and the like for it in order to properly stream, say, even if it's something as simple as a simultaneous capture of my screen and like a chat window for Twitch or YouTube Live or whatever platform I use. And I intend to live stream just short little events on a fairly regular basis. Hopefully, 2 to 3 a week would be a pretty respectable output, I think. Granted, this is with the final rig that I'll be using, and all of the maintenance it or my software may or may not require sight unseen at this time, but I think that would be respectable. I'd say we're looking at 2 to 3 couple-hour, like 2-hour live streams a week as soon as I get settled in my new residence, which should be either by the end of this year or fairly early next year. And of course, once I have all the requisite equipment in my possession. And I want those streams to have a fair amount of variety. Does this mean I'll be abandoning creepypasta or weird fanfiction entirely? No, guys. But understand, going back and watching some of my old content, I noticed that when I tried to get serious, when I tried to deliver critiques at the end of the episodes, I found myself reciting the same critiques over and over again because so much of the fiction that was pouring out of the creepypasta wiki at that time was highly formulaic. Poor character development, inadequate world building, an effluence of profanity or, like, offensive comments in place of actual mature or dark themes. We would just see these same things time and again, and I don't want that to be my channel's primary output. So will I take a look at creepypasta occasionally? Yeah. Am I probably going to finish stories like 1999 and Attract Mode that I promised you conclusions to uphold my obligations to you, my wonderful audience? Absolutely. However, I'm also going to be branching out into other fan fiction, because if you take a look around the internet, you'll find there's a lot of awful fiction from every genre, just waiting to be critiqued and hopefully improved upon by myself and all of you. And I think if I had the opportunity, say, once again, through live streaming, to interact with you directly as I carry out these critiques, as I, read these stories for the first time, we would develop a more, communal spirit and environment. That's it. Environment around the channel, right? Because I would be directly interacting with you, asking you questions, fielding your questions as I read the story. So there will be a lot more interactivity, which is hopefully what I'm pushing for, with this soft reboot of the channel, if you will. And beyond that, if I get enough equipment, I would also like to do some video game streaming, something I experimented with PS Live for the PS4 about a year and a half ago, but ultimately was just dissatisfied, A, with the ultimate quality of my audio recording equipment at the time, which I still haven't been able to replace, and B, with the PS Share, that's what it is, not PS Live. PS Share's inability to record all of certain titles, because certain scenes or areas of games may be blocked at the developer's request, and therefore you cannot record them. This is especially problematic, say, in Warner Brothers Interactive or Square Enix titles. And if I was going to do something like, say, stream Kingdom Hearts 3, which I definitely would love to, because I think we could have a lot of fun tearing apart what stands for a plot line in that series, as well as checking out all the cool gameplay and beautiful artistic direction that Square Enix usually brings to the fore. I'm fairly certain that the development team would have several sections of that game omitted from the PS Share streaming function. I think that was a proper sentence. But this is the type of thing I want to do. Live stream games, live stream creepypasta or fanfiction readings, maybe even do some live Q&A sessions, like once a month or something like that. And I want to do all this, as I said, to create a more communitarian atmosphere around the channel and our audience, and be able to interact with all of you much more directly than I have in the past, and consistently as well. Which leads me to the second component of this channel reboot that I'm hoping to introduce, and that is, in lieu of constant co-hosts or just a rotating panel of guests, what I would like to experiment with, and this all depends on, again, the capabilities of my rig, of ultimately the audience itself, things like that. I would like to have audience participation through Skype calls or Google Hangouts or something like that for these fanfiction or creepypasta readings and critiques, meaning instead of say the BM crew, having a couple of you, if you would like, call in and read or riff a story with me, or just co-commentate a game or something like that. Just something really brief, similar kind of to what Something Awful Legend Slow Beef does on his channel occasionally, like a call-in show. And I would love to have that opportunity to interact more directly with you guys and get some of your insights into the material I'll be working with. And that way as well, by allowing a greater degree of audience participation, that will hopefully allow you to more directly influence the direction the channel takes in the future. Third and final component of this little pitch I have for all of you. I am thinking about using my education, believe it or not, to create a special series for YouTube. And this will be, get ready, about to blow your mind, you never thought the Overanalyst was going to say this, a professionally edited video series. Alright. We calm down now? Okay. I am going to use my knowledge gained from years working as an R&B DJ, both for profit and largely on a non-profit volunteer basis, to produce a series of professional analyses of Billboard year-end Hot 100 charts from the modern era of pop music, beginning, hopefully, with the year I started listening to pop music extensively, not that I've ever really enjoyed much of it, 2008. And the way this series will hopefully work is maybe every month or other month I will release a fairly extensive video that has been professionally edited, obviously as to include samples of the tracks that are being critiqued in that video, containing analyses of roughly 10 to maybe 12 tracks from the Billboard year-end Hot 100 of a given year, starting with number 100 and working all the way down to the most popular song at the end of that year. This will allow me to hopefully provide commentary on relevant trends in pop music, chart the emergence of contemporary trends such as bro country or mumble rap that we see gaining ever more prevalence today, and hopefully provide a bit more context for artists that may not be as relevant anymore, and hopefully unearth a lot of hidden gems that escaped a lot of people's attention in the past. Music is something I'm incredibly passionate about, and I want to be able to share some of my passion with you through a more professional type of analysis, a breakdown of the hits that formed our current musical landscape, and hopefully an explanation as to why some of them were anywhere near as popular as they were, especially those that pretty much everybody agrees have little to no musical value, but may have significant cultural or musicological value instead, meaning a contribution to like the culture surrounding music. So that is hopefully something I wish to produce once I have the requisite equipment and recording space. These 3 points all together, live streamed, creepypasta and fanfiction, live stream video games, and these musical analyses, combined with a general focus on a greater deal of audience participation and interaction, form the foundation of what I want to bring to this channel and to all of you who've been so kind and so incredibly patient as to stick around for the past couple of years during my frankly inexcusable absence. Moving forward. And as I said, there's not going to be a huge emphasis on collaborations or like massive panels on this program. Maybe, say, if I'm doing a fan fiction review and I know there's somebody who's written or recorded lots of really top-flight reviews of fiction from a particular fandom, I might reach out to them and see if they're interested in doing like a short little podcast or review thing with me, but I'll try to keep those fairly irregular, because moving forward, as I said, you guys are the panel, you guys are the audience, you guys are going to be the lifeblood of this channel, because that's what I wanted you to be from the inception and unfortunately failed to deliver on. Moving forward, this channel is about you, this channel is for you. I want to use what meager gifts I have, what meager opportunities and resources I have to do something really positive for the world. You know, as I said, I want to be a teacher, and I want to start that right now by creating quality, entertaining, and positive content that can be enjoyed and should be enjoyed by an extremely diverse, wonderful fan base. So, I know, I'm rambling, as I always do, and I apologize for that, but the summary of this I can provide is I'm still here. I haven't forgotten about you. I am so thankful for all the support you showed me in a very trying time in my life. And now that I am in perhaps the best shape I have ever been in, I want to return the favor and provide you with the type of content and entertainment you deserve. And I want to make that and make a future on this channel with all of you. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. And I hope to talk to you once we finally get all set up towards the end of the year, maybe early into next year, with a brand new Overanalyst format, a brand new Overanalyst channel, and a brand new Overanalyst outlook. In the meantime, I'll be using YouTube's share function, if I can, to forward you videos from other popular, well, not popular in some cases, nascent content creators whose work I think you might enjoy. Thank you all so much. I really have missed talking with and interacting with all of you, and I hope we can pick up where we left off, or without much ground lost, and move forward and make this channel what it was originally supposed to be. Well, all that and even more. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.